I totally forgot emotional support Pikachu was still here. Whoopsie.
Hi, emotional support Pikachu.
This is my home now. This chair is my home. I live in it forever. Just to let you guys know.
Have you moved from there all day?
I have not moved at all. I made Gio go buy me food because I was like, I can't leave right now. I'm about to cast Splatoon and I'm about to go cast Pokemon. And then
So you're just
I live in
glued
this
to
chair.
the
This is my home.
pretty much.
This is my new home. Come visit me, guys. So we've got two very familiar players to people who are who've been around the SoCal scene or who have at least seen Hayley play from before and know her Stoutland really well. So Hayley Aldworth and Tricia Solomon. So we're gonna get right into it.
Let's do it. Tricia on the left doing an interesting team here with Incineroar, Kyogre, Lugia, Stakataka, Tapu Koko, and Sarina, while Hayley on the right's got Tapu Fini, Incineroar, Duskmane Necrozma, Toxicroak, Kartana, and Kyurem White. So each of these teams have that one Pokemon you don't see too often. Lugia for Tricia, Hayley's got Kyurem.
I mean, Lugia had a little bit of a rise in the middle of the season. You know, you've got the multi-scale, which makes those attacks hard. It makes it a little bit harder to hit. You've got the Z Tailwind that boosts its critical hit ratio, so it guarantees a critical hit on Aero Blast every single time. And the thing with Kyurem White is Hayley's always been running that this entire Moon series. And what's really nice is that team with Toxicroak, like, every single time you have the Toxicroak paired up against the Kyogre, it always puts the Kyogre player on a little bit of the defensive side because you've got that idea of, shoot, can't heal this Toxicroak, gotta be really careful. However, if Hayley cannot stop that Lugia from getting that Z Tailwind and getting those critical hits from Aero Blast, she's in a world of trouble.
Yeah, especially looking at her team. I mean, half the things right there can get knocked out in one shot with an Aero Blast, it seems, so Hayley's got to definitely watch out for that. You do have
She's got an uphill battle to climb right here.
You have the Kyurem. I think that's going to be Hayley's biggest savior because that actually, looking at Tricia's side, it can knock out the Sarina. The Lugia do a decent amount of damage on some of the other Pokemon there, but Hayley needs to really position herself smart in order to win this thing. I think that's going to be her
I think for her, understanding the fact that Lugia is going to be the toughest thing on Tricia's side to be able to get rid of, that's going to help her loads. If she can manage her resources properly to be able to take it down, she'll be in a good spot, right?
Well, we're going to see Tricia lead with Tapu Koko and Incineroar, very common lead for the 2019 format. Hayley going with that Kyurem White and Toxicroak. Both teams have possible fake out. We see that electric surge coming out from Tapu Koko, but after the Kyurem White's Turbo Blaze there, so we know that this Kyurem is going to be faster. Most likely it's Choice Scarf.
We do have sort of a fake out exchange potential on the field as well. You've got both Incineroar and Toxicroak able to do that. Tapu Koko is a really nice Pokemon to use as a pivot as well because it allows Tricia to be able to kind of go for Volt Switch, get damage boosted from electric terrain, and able to switch out without manually switching out. And I think Hayley has to kind of figure out how she's going to play on the defensive because having one of your restrictors out on the field immediately is going to be a little bit tough, especially if it takes too much damage.
Well, we see this Tapu Koko going for Protect, and we see the fake out from Toxicroak first. That's going to prevent Incineroar from moving, so Hayley gets a free hit here. Earth Power on the Incineroar.
Ooh, so doubling down to the Incineroar, which is really nice, because then you've also got the special defense drop here, which is not going to really matter, I think, much for Incineroar. The nice thing here is that Tapu Koko, having burned that Protect, is going to be in a little bit of trouble here because Hayley was able to just go straight into that Incineroar just from the get-go, and was able to be like, you know what, not really worried about your Tapu Koko, so let me go after this Incineroar instead.
And it's also smart because you have Toxicroak with Poison Jab or Gunk Shot. It's going to be able to do a lot of damage or possibly knock out this Tapu Koko this turn. So I think Hayley definitely had that smart play going into that Incineroar. But Tricia sees that, wants Lugia in favor of Incineroar. And we see that Earth Power target that Lugia slot. Dazzling Gleam coming out from Tapu Koko. Does a decent amount onto both of Hayley's side. Not very much on the Toxicroak, which will return the favor to Tapu Koko with the Poison Jab. Gets it down to only 43 health. That's just about a third of its health remaining.
Yeah, so I mean, what's nice here is that Lugia came in for essentially free, wasn't hit by the Earth Power because it's not affected by it due to the fact it's a flying type. Tapu Koko not poisoned as well, so that's nice for Tricia. Is able to go for another Protect if she would like on this, but Lugia is in a pretty prime spot to be able to go for that Z Tailwind, is able to get those critical hits, and Hayley's not going to be, unless she's got something like an Ice type move on that Kyurem White, maybe like an ICMZ, like something to kind of just like knock out this Lugia. I mean, it's Flying Psychic or something like that.
Flying Psychic.
Lugia always looks like it's gonna be part water type.
It always has.
Really bothers me.
It
always looks like it's gonna be part like water, and I hate it so much. At least Ho-Oh looks like the typing that it's supposed to.
Yeah, I mean, even in Soul Silver, I think Lugia, and maybe Silver, I don't remember exactly. It's clear that Lugia's swimming in water. It's not water type. Either way, we're going to see the Duskmane Necrozma switch in favor of that Kyurem from Hayley's side. We see an attack on the Toxicroak. It's down to 50%. So now is the time for that Z-Tailwind that you were talking about earlier.
A lot that like Hayley could do to
No.
And it's kind of rough because that's what makes Lugia kind of scary. Is that if you don't have the resources immediately to stop it, it gets that free. Tailwind. I mean, we have the poison jab here. Could get poisoned. Oh,
it does get the
shit.
poisoning.
Sorry, Trish. Did not mean to do that to you.
Well, what I'm thinking is Hayley wants to save that Kyurem. Hopefully, if it does have a Z Crystal, now thanks to the poisoning, that Lugia cannot get Roost back up or get multi-scaled again. So I'm thinking that Hayley's gonna save that Kyurem to try and knock out Lugia with an ice attack after Tailwind expires.
The hard part is that it's still like a terrifying Pokemon to have, right? Because you've got all that damage that it can output with the Aero Blast.
We see the Feint go on to Tapu Koko, gets it down a little bit, but Koko's going to survive and taunt the Duskmane Necrozma, preventing any sort of Trick Room shenanigans. The Aero Blast is going to attack with a crit onto Hayley's Toxicroak and gets rid of it for good. And there's the Trick Room, so that's not going to happen. And now Hayley's forced to bring in either her final Pokemon or that Kyurem back.
Yeah, I mean, it's tough because Tricia being able to kind of like read the fact that Duskmane Necrozma is going to set up Trick Room and denying it with that taunt. Duskmane is actually in a really like horrible kind of spot because it's not able to protect either. Kartana here is when you don't really have much of a choice, especially with Tailwind up on Tricia's side of the field, it's going to be rough. Mostly because Hayley's going to have to take an Aero Blast to something. It's kind of a tough battle for her.
Now, what I'm wondering is if Hayley's Kartana is going to be offensive or if it's going to go for a possible Tailwind if it can survive.
I don't know if you want to match Tailwinds here. Yeah, you're going to go for the second set because you're going to try to want to burn out those Tailwind turns as much as you can. And you can't really do that with Duskmane Necrozma because you can't protect.
Well, Duskmane Necrozma is going to essentially act as a punching bag, taking a Thunderbolt and Earth Power combination from both of Tricia's Pokemon. And there's the credit on Earth Power. But Duskmane is going to take it, activates its weakness policy, and that could be very scary if a Sunsteel Strike here, it targets that Lugia. If it targets the Tapu Koko, it's definitely going down, the Tapu Koko. But the Lugia here, I think, I don't know about this.
It's still going to be,
Yeah, it's going to hit the Tapu Koko here.
Lugia is just a tough Pokemon to kind of take down at this point. I mean, you've got it on a timer, sure, but you've also got to consider the fact that Thunderbolt from that Tapu Koko, because it is, being the shiny variant, it's going to be that timid, max. It's going to be timid, and so it's going to be faster. And it's scary for your Kartana to be up against it. I mean, Serena, as the last Pokemon here, is also going to be really interesting because you've got that Fake Out Pressure one more time. Duskmane still can't protect here. Kartana could go for moves right now. The only problem is you still have Tailwind up on Tricia's side of the field.
This is tricky. I
don't think there's any way that Tricia
so.
can really lose it because you've got the critical hit Aero Blast on there. Even with the poison timer on there, you can stop the Kartana. You can fake it out. You can go for the Aero Blast into Cart, and there's not a lot. It's gonna be difficult for Hayley, I think, to really kind of make a comeback.
Well, let's see if this Kyurem can do anything as it switches back into play here. We see the Feint from Sarina going on to that Kyurem slot, now under 50% of health. Aeroblast once again targeting that Kyurem, and this time it is going to knock out with a crit again.
Yeah, I mean, it's nice that's why denying Z-Tailwind is so important, because the minute that you don't, you get those guaranteed critical hits every single time, right? And even if you've got that Photon Geyser taking down that Serena, the problem is you've got this Lugia still up there. Sure. So, I mean, the nice thing is Tailwind is gone, and this Lugia is still, on that very specific timer. However, Kartana can actually probably go for a couple, really high-heavy attacks right now to the Lugia, as long as it doesn't get, faked out or anything like that.
Intimidated or anything,
yeah. And I think now, as Trish, you have to make the call of, is Hayley going to go for the detect? And then, if you're Trish, do you go for the Tailwind as well on the same time? Because if you can get another Tailwind up, or deny another Trick Room into that Duskmane Necrozma, then you actually are in a pretty good spot. So I mean, you fake out the Duskmane and then you go for an Air Blast into Kartana, because there's actually nothing that can really go wrong for that. I don't think Kartana has anything enough to take out that Lugia.
We'll see what Kartana's moves are. Well, first it's gonna go for the detect, And we see a double protect, actually. Just doesn't... No possible fake out here. Though we do get a bit of insight on what Tricia was doing, going for that fake out on Duskman Necrozma, the Arrow Blast onto the Kartana, so exactly like you said. But now, there is no fake out possibility. Hayley could start with that Kartana. I'm thinking if it's carrying any move but Leaf Blade or Smart Strike, we'll be able to do enough damage to get rid of Lugia. Just gotta worry about that Incineroar.
I think you go after the Kartana first. I think Kartana here's the bigger threat. And barring a double detect, like Hayley won't be able to like do much with that Kartana, because even if Duskman Necrozma is able to attack or get Trick Room up, it's at a low enough health that I think that Incineroar is in a good spot to be able to take it down.
That Arrow Blast is gonna crit. Kartana is gonna take it. It is Focus Sashed, so that's the first reveal. Sacred Sword coming out, getting rid of Incineroar. And now Hayley could take this if this Duskman Necrozma does a lot. It is weakness policy. Sunsteel Strike. Let's take a look.
Oh, and then you got the poison damage. Oh, this is gonna be.
I think Hayley might have turned this around last minute.
That poison is so helpful for Tricia.
That really, was the defining moment.
Oof.
Yeah, that's it. And Hayley is gonna take game 1.
Oh, it was a turnaround.
That was a huge turnaround. I think
interesting.
the poison was the key.
Yeah.
The poison absolutely was the key there.
Poison is always really interesting because, again, it puts your Pokemon on a timer. And I think what would have been really interesting is if Trish had been able to see that Hayley was going to double protect on that turn that Incineroar switched in, she could have set up Tailwind again, and that would have made it a game changer as well, because then your Incineroar would have been faster, and you would have been able to pick up some necessary KOs on there. So I think that one was a really tough call, though, because that double protect kind of cinched the victory for Hayley in that moment. And it's interesting that Hayley left that Lugia alone for so long after the critical hit boost and after the Z Tailwind, and was able to actually stall out the Tailwind turns, which was really nice.
Now I'm wondering if Hayley's going to go for the same thing or attempt some sort of attack on the Lugia before it can Z Tailwind. Because I'm thinking Toxicroak and Kyurem White are going to be a good combo. I just don't know if... It really depends on what Tricia brings out.
Nah, if you're Hayley, you're just going to be like, I'm going to poison this Pokemon again with Poison Jab. Because, you know, that's what always... Just kidding. I think it's a good 4 to bring. That Tapu Koko was a little bit of a bigger threat than I think Hayley anticipated to have. Boosted terrain, Tapu Koko was always really tough to deal with. Thunderbolt with that much damage is also really scary, right? And it allows for Trish to kind of pivot as she needs to. And like Serena and Tapu Koko are such good supports against with Lugia. And so the interesting thing is that like Trish didn't actually bring her Kyogre. She only brought the Lugia. And I think that the 3 other Pokemon she chose were such good supports for that it was able to kind of like pick up what it needed to in the game. Unfortunately, the poison just really hurts it.
I think also Kyogre, I don't think it's the best play looking at Hayley's team, because you have Tapu Fini, even though we didn't see that. Duskman Necrozma doesn't go down to Water Spout very easily. And then you also have that Toxicroak Dry Skin, so I don't know. I don't think Kyogre is the right play here.
You never know. You can get crits and stuff.
It's possible. It's possible. I mean...
Well, I mean, like, part of it is, like, when you're playing Moonseers, when you're playing a format that has restricted Pokemon, figuring out when to leave behind your restricted and understanding that it's okay to leave it behind is something that I think a lot of people also have trouble with sometimes still. Yeah. Because they're such powerhouse Pokemon, right?
Well, we're going to see Tapu Koko Arena come out from Tricia's side, and Hayley once again leading with that Kyurem White and Toxicroak combo. The Turbo Blaze activates first, then the Electric Surge, so pretty sure at this point this Kyurem White is Choice Scarf. So now, no possible fake out, but maybe a knockout on Serena right away.
I think Serena has access to fake out.
I don't think so.
Oh, I don't even remember what has fake out and what doesn't anymore.
Serena stops it.
But yeah, I mean, this Tapu Koko is in like a really just good position to go for attacks, is able to pivot out as it needs to. I mean, what's interesting is that the Serena is out on the field. It's going to be switching out though, and that Incineroar with the Intimidate is going to be really nice right now.
That, first off, will possibly keep Serena safe from Toxicroak if it stays in at this -1, so that's the first good thing about that Intimidate. We see Tapu Koko protect, so no Poison Jab damage if Hayley wanted to target Tapu Koko. Ice Beam going on to the Incineroar slot. and it does very little damage. And there's the poison jab, does target that Tapu Koko.
I was gonna scream if that Kira managed to get
a freeze.
A freeze with the ice beam, because that would just be the cherry top on this. I mean, so what's nice now is like if you're Trish, you've got that fake out pressure. Your Tapu Koko, even though it has protected, is going to be able to attack. You can stop that that Toxicroak. You can put the pressure on it as you need to. I mean, with Tapu Koko is kind of actually a really scary fast Pokemon to have on the field because it does so much damage on terrain.
Well, the fake out gonna target the Toxicroak, and another ice beam coming out from Hayley's side, but this time targeting that Tapu Koko, who is gonna hang on with a focus sash, and now we get the item reveal on that Tapu Koko.
I never thought I would read that sentence in my life.
Well, we see Dazzling Gleam does a decent amount of damage, gets around 40-30% off of both of Hayley's Pokemon.
Focus Sash Tapu Koko. I did not think I would live to see the day, but I mean, Tapu Koko hanging on is actually really nice now, because now that you know that you take that much damage from that ice beam, that is a lot of damage from ice beam. So it's kind of a scary Pokemon to have, and it's kind of been locked into that, right? So now you can kind of go for Flare Blitz. I think if you're Trish on either Pokemon, I mean, you have to be careful because actually, if you're assuming that it is like a choice item, then you can't be locked into Earth Power. So actually, Incineroar is able to kind of go for a Flare Blitz and do a lot of damage to something on Hayley's side, including that Toxicroak.
Tapu Koko getting out of there, does not want to get knocked out right away. We see Sarina switch into a slot. The Ice Beam on Sarina, we saw it do a lot of damage on that Toxicroak, and it's going to KO that Sarina, so sacrifice there for Tricia, it seems. Poison Jab from Toxicroak now coming out, but that's not going to target. It looks like Hayley wanted that Tapu Koko or Sarina slot gone.
I think it was more she wanted to preserve that Tapu Koko than anything else, especially because now you get that trade of that Serena is gone, but now you picked up the knockout with that Kira White. You also have no berry activation actually on this Incineroar at all. It is in the red.
Is it an AV then maybe?
Yeah, there's definitely no berry on it. And now you can kind of bring in that either that Tapu Koko, or I think now would be a really nice time to kind of bring in that Lugia, because the Ice Beam potential from that Kyurem is also gone because of the fact that it's like out. Kartana is really nice here as well for Hayley, because you've got your choice of knockouts here, especially with the fact that it's not intimidated and both Pokemon here are in the red.
So, do you think that Tricia here is gonna target the Kartana with the Incineroar, Tapu Koko goes on the Toxicroak slot, or do you think
whatever's going to happen is like Kartana's going to be able to knock something out? I mean, it's probably going to go after that Incineroar if it can, and the thing is then Trish would give up either one or both Pokemon, right? So despite the fact that Tapu Koko is like the natural like predator for Kartana, the issue here is that we also know Kartana is has a Focus Sash, right? So if you don't break that Focus Sash before you attack into it, you're allowing this Kartana for another attack as well. And it's interesting to me that Tricia would bring both of these Pokemon on the field at the same time, or like bring back in that Tapu Koko when that Kartana is there, because she has that option to like kind of really give Hayley knockouts like that.
There you go. There's the faint knockout on Tapu Koko. So Tapu Koko doesn't get to do anything. We know Kartana had Sacred Sword from earlier. That's gonna get rid of Incineroar here, and Tricia's left alone with her final Pokemon. Now, I'm kind of curious if it's Kyogre, which I don't think... I'm not sure.
Lugia.
I have a feeling it will be, but I was kind of wondering why we didn't see Lugia earlier with the Toxicroak on the field.
I think she was trying her best to set up, because like the scary part about it is when you have... it's Kyogre.
It is Kyogre.
What are you... Wait, okay, what? What? I'm confused.
That was interesting.
I was expecting Lugia. I was not expecting Kyogre at all. I didn't think Kyogre was a smart choice for this match, especially because you weren't able to... My question is, if you're Trish and you bring Kyogre, why don't you invest more into getting rid of that Toxicroak as well? Because you can't ever click something like Water Spout, which is your best move for the most part, on a Kyogre against this. And I think there was a lot of interesting ways of deciding how to pivot around with this, because this is definitely just game over.
Yeah, that Leaf Blade just one-hit KOs Tricia's Kyogre, and with that, Hayley is going to take the game and the round.
Yeah. I mean, that was an interesting choice on Tricia's side.
Yeah.
I don't know how much I agree with that. I feel like Kyogre, as much as a good Pokemon it is, bringing it in that matchup and then leaving it behind at the last possible second when you weren't able to really take out either two Pokemon that were super effective against Kyogre, wasn't exactly the best use of the Pokemon he had available to you. I mean, on the other hand, you know, her matchup against something like Hayley's team, which, by the way, Hayley's team is meant to be just a straight up Xerneas counter, but it works really well against Tricia's team too, because that much damage with Ice Beam was ridiculous. So
it was definitely entertaining.
yeah. Anyway, we'll see you guys for round 4 in just a little bit. I am definitely gonna get something caffeinated to drink again.
You can leave the chair.
So much caffeine. Yeah, I can leave the chair. So, as soon as Miguel pays attention again, I'm gonna make so many puns, Miguel, if you don't turn around.
I think that's a threat, Miguel.
It's not. So, yeah, see you guys.